Alright, chapter 15, problem solve. Create a query in design view. Okay, create, query design, using table purchase and purchase line. And we're going to display the purchase date, product ID, and quantity in that order. And then we want to show the total of each product sold on a particular date. So basically we're just going to do a totals row, and we're going to group by date and product ID, and then we're going to sum up our quantity. Okay, so that's step 3. Group the results by purchase date, and then sort in ascending order, and product ID in ascending order. And then we're going to rename this quantity field. If you remember from earlier, to rename anything to the left of a colon is the name of the field, and anything to the right is either a field name or a calculation, like an if statement or an actual calculation. Okay, and let's run this just so you can see. And if you look here, it looks like I've got 2 sweatshirts on February 2nd, which I shouldn't. But if we go look at it, it's sweatshirt small black, and this is actually sweatshirt extra large red. So they're actually 2 different products. We're just printing out the name of the field instead of the product ID. So anyway, save this as query sold by date. And then we have an in datasheet view. This is datasheet view. We're going to turn on totals here as well. So I'm going to just come up here to my records group, turn on totals, and sum up our volume. Actually, it says quantity. It'll say, oh yeah, it's supposed to be volume. Okay, and save again and close. Now create a query in design view using the table product and the purchase line. Then we're going to display the category and a calculated field called gross sales. So gross sales, I can type. Okay, and in this one it says gross sales for each category. Gross sales is calculated by multiplying the cost of the item by a markup of 40%. So typically, and I think I've told you in the past, especially in Excel, we go, if we do it in the order that the question is in, we get it right. And this is one of those that we don't. So it's going to be quantity times cost times 1.4, I think. I will run that or submit this and double check the calculation in the video. Okay. Alright, so gross sales, group the results by category. So to do grouping, I have to turn on totals, and then we're going to sum up our gross sales, and we're going to format the gross sales into currency. So to format, we go to property sheet and select currency, and then if we run this, we have totals. Okay, save as query gross sales, and then close it. And we're going to do another query based on table product and purchase line. Displays a calculated field called total gross sales, and this one is believe it's the same as the other one, but I believe we do it this way. Cost times 1.4 times quantity, which we don't have to do the parentheses on this one, but I think probably should have looked all these up before I started this video, but it's a good learning experience for you guys. Okay, so this is the cost times the markup times the quantity purchased, and then we're gonna sum this. So I'm going to click OK, turn on totals, sum this, and turn on our property sheet because we're going to change it to currency as well. And let's see. Okay, and then we're going to save it as query total gross sales. Okay, so we have to create some queries to calculate other things. So these are just kind of stepping queries, I should say. Our gross sales, be sure you have these numbers. If you don't, double check this formula. Okay. The reason we put parentheses here is we want this to happen before we multiply by quantity. Alright, so again, make sure these are the numbers, and then your total gross sales needs to be this as well. Because if in a minute you don't have those, you're going to not like life and have to redo them. So, create a query. This time we're basing our query on queries. Okay, so far this semester we've done query on tables. We're going to click on queries and do queries on queries. So I'm going to take my gross sales and my total gross sales. And we're going to display the category, the gross sales, and a calculated field called % of gross sales. Okay. And so this field, if I was in class, I'd be asking you, how do you calculate the percentage? So I'm going to let you sit there for just a half a second and then tell you. Okay, so to calculate the percent, we take the part divided by the whole. Alright, you're always going to take the part, whatever I'm looking at, divided by the whole thing that I'm looking at. So where do I get my part from? Where's my portion? Well, my portion is my gross sales per category. So I'm just going to say, oops, gross sales, and we divide it by, and you don't have to put brackets in, it'll actually do them for you. Sales. Okay, so this is my portion divided by my whole. Each category, remember we had baby category and a couple other categories. So I have 3 categories with gross sales, and then I have the whole amount. And then we're going to format this as a percent. And run it, and hopefully it does tell us, okay, save the query as query % of sales, and then we want to make sure that this is 100%, so I'm going to turn on my totals and sum this up. Oops, and I have 100%. So the total, oh, we need to put a total on the gross sales field too. So if anybody can remember what the total gross sales was, it was $5,400 and some change. So you can see that that's our total now on this one as well. Okay, Save your changes. Close. Now we're going to do another query based on product and purchase line. And we want the category and a calculated field called category volume. Okay, so our category volume, again, how do I, well, it calculates the total quantity of items sold for each category. So this is a fancy word for renaming quantity. Alright, our category volume is basically the sum of all the products in that category. So I'm going to turn on my totals and click on sum, run, and there's my category volume. Okay, we're going to group by, which is another way of saying turn on your totals. I'm grouping by category and I'm summing up my category volume. Okay, so I'm going to save this query as query volume by category. And then close. Create query design based on purchase line. And again, we're just calculating the total volume. So quantity. And we're going to name this total volume. Turn on our totals and sum this up. Okay, so now if I calculate or run it, I get 448 total quantities of everything that I've sold is 448. Right, so save this as query total sales volume and close. And query based on query volume by category and total sales volume. So very similar to our gross sales. We're going to take our category volume and then a calculated field called percent of sales volume. Okay, and again, percentage of anything is the part divided by the whole. You shouldn't need to look at the questions to give you that answer, but total volume. Okay, click OK. And you notice I didn't put brackets on that one, but as soon as I clicked OK, it did put brackets around it because it knows it's a field name. Okay, and then we're going to turn on percent for this one as well. We can run this and you see the amounts here. Save as query percent of sales volume. And then in datasheet view, which we're already here, we're going to turn on our totals and we want to sum this one up. Add a total and then add a total to the volume. Okay. And then if you remember, our volume by category was 448, and so that's what it should be here as well. So save and close. Now we're going to create another query based on table product. We're going to display the product description, the category, and a calculated field called physical volume. Okay, And how do you calculate physical volume? Based on what we have available to us, how do I calculate physical volume? It's going to be height times length times depth. Now remember, if I spell one of these incorrectly, which I'll do that, and I run it, it's going to say enter parameter value, and it gives you the field that it's looking for. Okay, so that field is not in this table. That's why it pops up. So you cancel and go check your spelling, and then you can run it and it gives you the volume. Now, no, that's right, sorry. I was thinking of the next one. Okay, so we're going to save this as, oh, not done yet. Okay, now to the right of this, we're going to do another calculated field called remaining volume. Okay, so this one is I just calculated the volume, and I want to know what's left, okay, of a small box. So a small box has a total volume of 142 cubic inches, and I just calculated the volume of each category. So I'm just going to say 142 minus physical volume. Click OK. Okay, notice it put it in brackets because it is a field name that I just calculated. Now if I run it, here's my physical volume in each of these. Right? And we're going to save this and query physical volume. And then close. Now we're going to create another query based on query physical volume. And we want the category. Nope, we don't want the category. We just want product description. And a calculated field, percent of physical volume. Okay, again, how do I calculate a percentage? I take my portion divided by my whole, right? So this one is actually a number, okay? Our whole is the size of a small box. So I'm going to take physical. Notice I don't have to capitalize either, divided by 142. And as soon as I click OK, actually you will need to. It would run in Access lowercase, but the grader is looking for the uppercase letters. Alright, now we want to only display products that are in the baby category. Okay, so I don't have category down here, so I need to bring it down and turn off the show, but I'm going to leave it on for just a second. And I want to say only products that are in the baby category. So I'm just going to do baby in my criteria. Okay, now if I run this, I should only have baby showing, right? But we don't want to show baby category. It's just a placeholder. We're trying to only display the baby category, but it doesn't say to display the category. All right. So back over here, format the physical percent of physical volume as a percentage. Okay. And we're going to save this. I'll just run it so you can see. Save this as query percent of physical volume. Click OK. And we are done. So I will go submit this to make sure that the couple of formulas that I gave you earlier are correct. Maybe. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and look at my view submissions, in case some of you didn't watch the earlier videos. It doesn't have a grade yet, but you should be able to. Okay, so I got a 91. So let's go down here. Alright, so it didn't like my gross sales. If you click on this down arrow, just filter this. Okay, so bummer. It doesn't show us. Oh, I must have spelled remaining wrong. Alright, so let's look at the marked up report. And this might be good for some of you if you want to go back and look at how to fix things before Saturday, next Saturday. So my physical volume, no, my gross sales was the first one. So I'm going to click on this, and this is SQL. This is SQL. Okay, so it's not that you need to know it, but right here is our formula. Okay, so I'm going to go open, maybe, open my file. Go into my gross sales. I'm going to look at my SQL so I can do a real comparison here. Okay, quantity. Where'd my markup go? Here we go. So quantity times cost times 1.4. Is that not what I had? Quantity times cost times 1.4. Alright, let's just do this. Select product category, sum, quantity times. Oh, this is so silly. Why would I do that? Okay, well, notice that the answer has, oh, I guess I screwed up. I need to take off one of my parentheses. Okay, and that's it. That is all I need to do to fix that one. Okay, so I'm going to run it again. Notice it doesn't really change anything, but the formula is different. Alright, so then the next one is the physical volume. Percent of physical volume. Remaining volume. Okay, let's just go back in here. I'm gonna look at my oh, that's why. Query physical volume. Query physical volume. And I'm just going to go to my SQL because I can actually look at them together or easily. Height times length times depth. Remaining volume. I had to spell that wrong. Height times length times depth has physical volume. Query physical volume. Query. Okay, obviously I'm not. Oh, I see. I know what I did. Maybe not. Oh, what happened to my remaining volume? It disappeared. That sometimes it happens. That's kind of weird, but sometimes it does. 142 minus physical volume. All right. 142 minus physical volume as remaining volume. All right, so for some reason it lost my formula. So I'm just going to go submit again just so you guys can see that I fixed them, hopefully. And here we go. There we go. Fixed them both. Okay, so that's it. Hope you guys had a great semester.